All right, guys, welcome back to the next episode of the Grand Prairie PD podcast. I am here with Whitney today.
Hello.
Katie's off hiding somewhere. And here with Officer Jeremy.
Yes.
Jeremy, good to meet you. I have never seen you before. So this will be one of those where we kind of all get to know each other.
Yeah.
Now, y'all have interacted somewhat.
Yeah, at the academy,
Mm-hmm.
victim services, going over victims of crime.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
you said he fell asleep the whole time.
He did not fall asleep. The
Okay.
class was a little sleepy, just
Gotcha.
collectively.
Gotcha.
You know?
I think it was like a 8-hour block, and
Yes.
it probably didn't need that much time, but
Right.
it may have been a state requirement or something like that.
Definitely a state requirement.
He thinks your job's boring. Well, Jeremy, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself as far as how you ended up doing this job and where you come from and all that good stuff?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Los Angeles, San Fernando Valley area. So I grew up in Northridge
Oh, cool.
area, lived in Calabasas, Encino, so
Very nice.
always in the valley, northwest side of Los Angeles.
Very cool.
Went to middle school out there, high school, and then went to Santa Barbara for college. So Santa Barbara City College, and then transferred to UC Santa Barbara. So
Oh, cool. What did you study?
I did economics and accounting. So
Okay.
did that, and then I also completed the business program out there
Oh, very
as
nice.
well. So did my 4 years. Went into actually photography. So whole plan was I'll do accounting because my dad did accounting. I did it for 6 months, hated it. I worked in downtown Los Angeles, big office building.
Yeah.
Was not my thing at all. So at 6 months I quit. Went into photography, did that, videography. I'm freelance, and then own my own company doing that.
Do you do currently?
No,
Or
no
you
longer.
just did?
Yeah, I did it back
Gotcha.
then. Yeah. So
Was that like a long held like passion that you just kind of set aside for the accounting route, or
it was more just I need something else other than accounting. So.
Gotcha.
Whoa.
Cameras?
I did do cameras in high school for a class, and
Uh-huh.
I felt I was good at it. So I was like, well, here's an option. I'll give it a shot. So,
Yeah.
Was your dad like surprised during that time, or he was he knew?
He was always supportive. So
That's good.
my mom, on the other hand, was, hey, you're giving up a good job,
Sure.
good benefits, all that kind of stuff. But
Which at the time you hear it as a kid, or not as a kid, but as a younger person, you're like, oh, it's my passion, or this is, I don't like this job, whatever. But like being more pragmatic, like in your
Yeah.
30s and you have kids, you're like, dude, just do whatever you need to do to put food on the table.
Yeah.
so yeah, did that. Ended up moving to Houston in 2015, I want to say. Continued doing that. Had a few job opportunities out there.
So the photography thing was doing pretty well then. I mean, you're
Yeah,
making-
and actually
making
I
money.
hired quite a big staff. I had like about 15 employees at the time.
Oh, wow.
So we're doing all kinds of jobs all over the place: Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Diego.
What were you like? What does a normal day in the life of a videographer look like?
It depends on who you're hired for, whether it's commercial videography or wedding or even like news stations. Like, hey, we need something for sports, for example. So we need a camera guy for XYZ event.
Okay, cool.
So we were kind of all over the place.
So you're like, you're not doing like live broadcasts or anything like that, obviously, but you're just like they want you to document an event, and you just go in there and kind of spice it up, basically.
Pretty much that, or just whatever camera operations they needed. So,
cool.
So I ended up doing that. Went to Houston in 2015, like I said, because one, I was single at the time, and then I got a job offer for actually a TV station out there. Say, hey, come and shoot some stuff for us for
Yeah, for
a
sure.
month, give it a shot, and pay was great. So I was like, hey, I'll go. So I packed my car, moved out to Houston, went down to the Pearland area, got an Airbnb out there. And after a month, I was like, you know what? I don't have a reason to drive back yet. So a month turned into 2, 3, 4, and then
Sure.
ended up staying. So got my own place out there, and kind of falling out of it. I didn't really want to do too much anymore. Business was good though, but I had a buddy at the fire department out there. It's called Cypher Fire Department. So you have Houston, and then Cypher is the second biggest out there in the county.
Oh, okay.
And I was actually preparing to apply for Houston Police at the time. I just had eye surgery at the time, so I was still in the healing process. And my buddy said, hey, we have an academy in 3 weeks. Like, we'll just get you in. Just
On the
put your-
fire side?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get you approved and everything in 3 weeks and get you in the academy. So ended up putting my application in, and there I was. So, and they said, worst case, you don't like, you just drop out.
That's true. Yeah. You went from the fire side to the police side.
Yes.
Why?
Fire side was good.
Yeah.
Was
That's
that-
why I can notice. I went to park squad cars at the lake station the other day, and they were all playing basketball. And I was
Oh, whoa.
like, cool.
It was good. After 4 years, I just wanted something a little bit different. Kind of lot of late nights, lack of sleep.
Yeah.
And I was at a busy station, so we'd be running 10, 15, 20 calls a day. So being up 24 hours a day all the time.
Yeah, that does.
So when my first child was actually born, kind of was like, this lack of sleep thing is not working out, especially with family. So
I'll go home with the newborn.
Yeah.
And then also not sleep.
So about that time, I was looking to move up to this area. So it was kind of like either I apply for a fire department job up here or try something different. And I thought, well, I wanted to do police originally, so
yeah,
I'll give it a shot and then applying here. So
very cool. So we don't, and I don't want to harp too much on the fire side because obviously you do police work now, but I don't think we've got to talk to anybody on the fire department.
No.
How what's like to us? We imagine you walk in, you put on your pajamas, and you get in bed. You wake up, eat some Hot Pockets, go back to bed. That's kind of the jokes that get thrown around. But what does an actual day in the life of showing up to a fire station look like?
So I can only tell you my experience of how we do it. I don't know how it is up here at Grand Prairie Fire, for example. For us, we'd show up. Our shift times are 6 to 6 over there, so 24-hour shifts. We usually show up around 5:30. So they'd offer us, hey, you can come in early. The whole idea was to relieve the people coming off shift.
Right.
Just because we don't have the crossover. Somewhere here we have the 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, so we have a little bit of a lean over where people are here. So it's like you get there 5:30, you start pulling their gear off the truck, and you put yours on. So if you get a late call, they can go home on time.
Right.
So at that point, we check off the truck. So every piece of equipment's got to be checked off, which take about 20 minutes or so.
Okay.
And then if we need to clean the truck, we'll clean it. So fortunately, no drive-through car wash. So
right.
So we do a whole detail on the truck. Usually, I'd say about once a week we would do that. If it rains a lot, we'd be cleaning it pretty often.
Sure.
So once that's done, breakfast time, go inside, start cooking breakfast, and it'd be kind of shared duty. So someone would cook breakfast, and then since we're living at the station, we also got to clean it.
Right.
And so if you're in a small station, it's a lot easier to clean. But if you're a big station, you're cleaning 6, 7 restrooms, showers.
That sucks, yeah. Imagine your rookies are getting those jobs.
For where I was, we shared it all.
Oh, cool.
So
very nice.
So you got to sweep the floor, mop.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a big chore kind of deal. Yeah. So
do you ever work any no shit house fires where it's like in the movies, like, hey, go in there and freaking get people out?
I had 2 of those
really?
with victim rescues. Unfortunately, the department had a lot, but 2 that I was at, fortunately for those 2, they didn't make it. But we definitely had we had 1, and so I was also a PIO at the time. I know it's kind of a sidetrack, but I was also a PIO at the fire department.
Wow.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it's kind of a shared role where I'd be doing on a fire truck, and then on my off days and off time, I'd be doing PIO work as well.
Gotcha.
So
that public information officer?
Yes.
Okay. So this is all normal to you, like this dynamic.
Well, we didn't have a podcast. We didn't have a setup like this. So.
Now, how compared to police work, how intimidating is that?
Right.
Like showing up to a house and it's on fire, and it's like, hey, you got to go in there.
I want to say it's more police work is more of the unknown because you don't know what's going through people's minds.
Sure.
First, you can, and obviously there's things like officer safety where you can prepare for certain things or try to avoid certain situations and getting into situations where it might be detrimental to you. On the fire side, you have your physics and science behind fire and how it moves in a house, for example. So you can kind of tell what's kind of going on, or obviously, the whole idea is getting water on the fire as quick as possible because that makes it a safer environment inside and also, prevents further spread of fire.
Yeah.
I want to say I don't think I've ever was scared per se, but when you're inside a house, generally you can't see anything at all.
Really?
Yeah. It's like pure pitch black, especially at nighttime. So except any, glow from fire, for example.
I was going to say, in my mind, you'd be able to see everything.
No, you can't see anything usually. So because the smoke's all the way to the floor. Right. So you're using, tools, feeling around, moving hose lines kind of inside, but you're like to stay very low. Yeah.
No. So it's not like the movies is what you're saying.
No. When you watch it on TV and it's like clear as day.
Right. Yeah.
I think Station 19 or whatever.
Like a little bit of smoke from here up.
I don't think I've ever been in a house where I could see anything like that. So.
Whoa. Were you there during some of the different like storms? Because my husband is from Houston, and we actually live like in the Woodlands area. And I know we were displaced for a little bit of time during Harvey.
Yeah.
So did you all like have to do some things during that time, or some of the storms? I don't know.
Harvey, I was actually in Los Angeles
Okay.
on vacation. And so when it hit, there was really no way to get back into the city. So I thankfully avoided that. I did do the big freeze from a couple years ago. So I worked 4 out of 5 days straight on that. Just had, I think, 2 12-hour periods off, which I lived in the territory, so I was close by, so I was able to quickly drive home.
Sure.
But I get home, there'd be no power. So it's kind of like, I'd rather be at the station because all our stations had power.
Yeah.
The freeze, though, was just call after call. We ran like nonstop. Plus, we had like no food.
That sucks.
So it just...
It's one of those times that we look at the firefighters like, hey, it's y'all's turn. Y'all have fun. You know, you mentioned the Harvey thing and being on vacation. We always give Matt a hard time because he's from Houston. He's from some little nice suburb outside Houston, but he's supposed to be from Houston. And when Harvey hit, he was on vacation somewhere in Central Texas, and then all of us went from here and helped out in Harvey, and he didn't go. So we always give him a hard time.
Whoa.
We served his community more than he did.
See, my husband he was in the National Guard during that time, and he almost got called out to help, but we were in the impact area, so that was the only reason why he didn't have to, just family-wise. I was like, that's nice.
Yeah, no kidding.
Don't want to do that by myself with
Jeez.
kids.
Yeah. So the transition, obviously, you said you always wanted to do police work, so it was easier to make the decision. But what was that transition like?
Well, for me, I had to move up here, get a house, so it's kind of a rush situation. Like down there, it's kind of like casual when we went into the fire department. Versus here is like, okay, get the job, quickly close on a house, move all my stuff. I didn't know what to expect. Academy here was 30 weeks for me. Might probably it's even longer now, as far as I've heard.
Oh, really?
So it was kind of a quick. I think I moved up here January 5th of the last year, and then also we're in Academy a week later. So
Yeah.
quick transition. There was no real break from
Real
working
quick.
over there to here.
How was because obviously it's a change in mentality, it's a change in priority. Did you, what was that transition like as far as, hey, because obviously you're a firefighter, you show up and talk to people, you're not worried about them killing you generally, like as a rare exception, but as a general rule, that doesn't happen. You're concerned about the things that we're not concerned about. Like I show up and like if a house is on fire, like, is anybody in it? No? Cool, I don't care. Whereas those roles kind of reverse. What was that like as far as adjusting your mentality and whatnot?
I don't really, see that mentality change till I got out of Academy, just because when I got here, obviously it's very structured down there. It's paramilitary for our fire department. Obviously every fire department is different, but so coming in Academy, where they have certain Academy rules, all that kind of stuff, it wasn't really much of a change per se.
I wouldn't have thought that.
Honestly, dealing with the general public, it's the same kind of thing. Everyone has their complaints, and you kind of do your best to help them with what they have going on.
Right.
There's no body cams, though. It's a little different. So
That's true.
I'd say that's probably the biggest change, which to me, I love my body cam. It's great. I use it all the time, especially for narrating stuff on reports. But
Right.
For the fire department, when a house is burning down, a lot of times you can't even save it, or you're putting too much water in that house, it's destroying the house.
Right, yeah.
When you're moving around, it's pitch black, like you're running into walls on accident. Like you actually make holes in walls, like it's not on purpose. But
Right.
and then in the end, the house may just be totally just destroyed. And
Right.
a lot of the homeowners are very thankful for that. And it's kind of like
So they are or they're not?
they are.
Oh, okay.
We're able to get some valuables out, all that kind of stuff. But a lot of stuff is water damage, smoke damage, or burned from fire. So
When y'all are going into a house, you would actually try to get like items out?
yeah, so salvage is a big part of it. So
Really?
Especially if we have quick extinguishment, we immediately go into salvage mode of like covering. Like we'll cover couches with tarps, flooring, all that kind of stuff.
That's cool.
And then we're pulling stuff out as quick as possible.
I had no idea.
Either. I figured it was just like if there's no people, then
Right.
There's a lot of valuables inside, so you try to kind of save what you can.
Right.
In the end, when I drive by houses that had burned before, like in the neighborhoods, just to see the kind of aftermath,
Yeah.
I feel a lot of stuff just stays outside because the families, they're out of a house, like they don't have anywhere to put that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and then insurance is probably like just leave it. You know,
Right.
we'll replace it. So, but a lot of families are very thankful, and a lot of times it's like, I don't know if we really saved too much. You know, we tried, but
Yeah.
versus I think the PD side, it's, you know, he gives someone a ticket, generally they're not as thankful. For example.
Right.
Very true. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Although I will say I've been surprised. You made the comment earlier you're going to leave here and go work step. I've been surprised at the positivity, like working step. I maybe like 2 or 3 like negative reactions to like I work speed, or I worked speed. I don't really do it anymore. But like you pull people over, it's like by the time you walk up, they're like, yeah, my bad. I was amazed. I thought like traffic cops, they just got nothing but constantly. But I was surprised working step. It wasn't quite like that.
I feel like generally most people are pretty easy
Yeah.
to deal with, and they know they did it or they didn't, but
Yeah.
try to be fair and honest, and
Yeah.
not like when you interact with someone, I guess it's like how you do it, and
Yeah.
if you're just good with them, they're generally good with you.
Right. Yeah.
So obviously there's a lot of calls that we go to where it's like there isn't really a solution per se. It's some like civil dispute, and it's like, sorry, we just don't have a solution to this, you know.
It's probably what 40-50% of them, you say?
A good amount, you know.
Yeah.
So
One of the things I wasn't really prepared for, like you're ready to chase and kick doors and fight and all that stuff, or even like the more mundane things. You know, you're going to write reports, you're going to do accidents. But the thing that even being exposed to police work, I wasn't ready for was the amount of things that you go to that have nothing to do with you. Like the amount of things that's like, this is not a police issue. It's shocking.
Yeah.
but you talked about the differences in mentality, and it's definitely a more of a thankless job for
Sure.
you know, a lot of the calls that we go to versus the fire side, where it's like, well, we do something, we're getting thanked all the time, and it's like,
Right. You're looking at.
I was like, I'm more here. I'm here for paycheck, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed doing what I did, but
Yeah.
it was more like fireside. You can do no wrong, for example. You know,
Right.
Versus here, it's like
You can do no right.
you could
sometimes.
try everything possible
Yeah.
to do right, and
Yeah.
you still could be wrong.
Right. That's funny. Well, and y'all have a calendar over there. We don't have one here.
Yeah.
So how long have you been here?
I started January of last year, so
Oh, new.
I think I'm just about to hit my 18 months.
Very cool. How are you? How are you enjoying it so far?
I'm loving it. Been on days BE for the past 5-6 months.
Really?
Yep. So
On purpose?
after I got released from FTO, I got placed on days BE.
Oh.
Gotcha. Was that kind of like a good thing or a bad thing?
I've had a very eventful 6 months.
Oh, really?
So gotten a lot of stuff. So I'm very thankful for it because it was a good experience and good learning kind of going into Nightsby. So
Sure.
I did bid for Nightsby. So
Okay.
starting next weekend, I'll be there.
Nice. So you keep the same days, but you'll
Yeah.
on the other side. What are some things you got into that you feel like it's kind of helped shape your learning process so far?
Just the amount of quantity of different arrests, call types, even stuff that's more minor. A lot of civil stuff or stuff calls where you're trying to work out what the solution might be. It's good experience in general.
Right.
So just the call volume, especially on days B. So
Really?
it's been, yep.
Yeah, I know days is a lot different because you'll get things that much more wide ranging than because at nights it's kind of like accidents, drunk fights, family fights, drug fights. It's like pretty straightforward most of them. But then you go to day shift and it's just like, who used your credit card? Like what? Or you had your life savings taken away from some scammer in Nigeria. It's like, what are we? I don't know what to do with
Like
that.
how to do this report. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Now, department-wise, I mean, you haven't been here that long, but have you been interested now in different departments? So, drugs, you said drugs. So, thinking narcotics or domestics, or like, have you been kind of thinking about some of the other things throughout the department you could shift to? Or you just focus patrol right now?
Still working on patrol right now. I've got quite a few stolens recently. I feel like that's kind of been a passion recently, is finding random stolens that are parked in different areas or moving. So maybe something to do with auto theft down the line. Domestics, probably not my cup of tea.
No.
Some people seem to really enjoy it. I don't mind
Zero.
going to
Yeah,
those
just
calls,
threw it out there in
Would not
case.
recommend.
But I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I would want to do long term.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't realize you were that new. That's awesome. What's something about the job so far that you're just not crazy about?
Getting home every day and taking out the gear and it's just drenched.
That's true.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah.
Fire department, we'd have our showers. You get dirty, you go quickly shower, new pair of clothes. Here it's kind of you tough it out till the end of shift.
Yeah, no, for sure. I hated it when you get in the car, you blast the AC, kind of cool off a little bit, like, hey, I feel like a human again. And then you get your next call, and it's like, hey, get back out and start the whole process over again. It's like, golly.
And then I just seem to sweat a lot, so
Yeah.
just especially working days B right now where it's been 100 degrees a couple days recently.
Yeah.
Just drenched all the time. And even my partners are pointing out, I was like, man, you were just like soaked and like just head to toe. And I'm like, you get used to it.
You wear the hat?
The cowboy hat?
Yeah.
No, because mine got damaged.
Oh.
It didn't survive a summer yet.
Oh, that sucks.
So
You leave in the car?
it went flying. I made a big turn in the car, went flying in the car, and got bent.
Whoa.
So.
Oh, within the car. I thought you meant like out the window.
Inside.
Oh,
I did
no.
it with the ball cap one time. I had it up on my dashboard, and I took a turn, and it goes whoop, right out the window. I'm like, fuck.
No, I got too much of a bend in it. It wasn't repairable. So I'll wait till next summer.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big introduction for me when they allowed the cowboy hats because I don't tan well, and that's probably surprising. But yeah, so probably saved about 10 years on my life to be able to wear that thing.
Yeah.
It's sunscreen every day for me right now, but then I step outside and then it's just pure white sunscreen pouring off me. So it's kind of like I can't win right now.
Right.
Yeah. See, but Houston is very humid. I would think at least weather-wise adjustment.
True, but we were just always kind of naturally dirty, so
True.
we had a lot of towels in the truck, all that kind of stuff, or shower if we need to. So even if it got dirty, it was just very easy to clean up,
Yeah. So what is your do you have, obviously you have parents, but do you have siblings?
Yeah, so I have a brother, 2 sisters. They're all younger than me. My sister lives in the oldest of the 3. Sorry, she lives in Los Angeles.
Okay, cool.
And then I have my brother. He lives in LA as well. And then another sister lives in New York.
Oh wow, what did she do?
That's a good question. She changed job a couple of times the past few years.
Yeah.
She was doing finance, working for some big bank, and then
You're just a smart family.
Yeah, business.
they're all busy. I think my sister works for Google. So, and she works from home too. So,
Oh man.
yeah,
That's cool.
real nice.
You like FaceTime her when you're all
Yeah.
sweating. She's like, "Well, you had a good job."
Right.
Generally not, but yeah, she's just works from home, and then her husband he manages like different artists and celebrities, like their like accounting stuff.
Oh,
So
nice.
he is an accountant or a financial planner, I guess. So
that's cool.
he does like YouTube celebrities and Instagram celebrities.
Man, you were in that pipeline.
Yeah, you
You're
were.
like, nah, go run into dark burning houses and
Save people.
sweat on the highway.
Serve the community.
I don't know. The desk wasn't enticing,
No, I know. Trust me, I sit on one now. Or sit at one now.
Now, what are some things you do to kind of, at least hobby-wise, or like, I don't know, things to take care of yourself? I mean, I'm thinking of self-care.
Sure. Well, he's not
You know?
fat.
Clearly, you take care of yourself. So, what are you doing?
Worked out before I came here, so generally my first thing I do of the day is work out if I can.
Did you work? Was it with a purpose though? Because like when we had David on, he did push-ups on the floor next to the table before we started recording, so that he looked bigger. Was that what you did? You're like, I'm gonna hit biceps. And
I mean, you saw me
shoulders
rushing in here, so I was not. I got my days. I have, my back day, push day, pull day, leg day. So kind of split it up.
You don't skip leg day. That's good.
Yeah. Rock climbing, something I do all the time. So
Oh God, screw that sport.
I'm not good at it. I got a lot of gear.
I don't mean that
but-
personally. I just, dude. First of all, it's scary. Like I'm like you can do like the bouldering or whatever, where it's like the whole thing's 5 or 6 feet off the ground. I can't do it. Like I suck at it. But like at least I'm not gonna use the restroom myself. But like the ones that are real high, I get above how tall I am. I'm done. I had my best friend growing up used to love rock climbing, and he dragged me with him. Like, come on, man, it's gonna be fine. You strap up. Like,
Yeah,
no,
I got your
like,
horns, you got
and I hit 6, 7 feet. I just like start shaking. I'm like, nope, I'm not doing this.
Just a learned hobby, I guess. Some people can
Yeah.
do it, some can't. Or
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not. You do like the stuff that's like super like tiny grips? And
No,
stuff
I'm
like
not that good.
Yeah, I don't know how. You ever watch like the free climbers like on TikTok or anything?
I have watched the documentary for the guy who did the one in Yosemite.
I haven't seen that one.
Yes.
Blank on the name right now, but he's a famous free climber.
Dang.
So couldn't do that. Also, I'm like 210 pounds.
Yeah.
So I see the people in the gym that are 140 pounds and they're doing the little crimps, and I'm like, no, I can't.
Yeah, no.
So
Yeah, you get where they'll find like the one crack and they're just like going up. Yeah, no way.
But I do that. Done a couple Ironmans. Did
cool.
one recently in April, a couple months ago. Fortunately, didn't complete. I got to like mile 74 and had to bail.
That's it.
Someone actually crashed into my bike and bent my derailleur.
That'll do it.
That was like early, like mile 20. And
So
then,
when your fault then?
No, it wasn't.
no, but it's a very expensive fix, and it sucks having to put all the work in. And
Now, for people who aren't aware, what's the Ironman?
so Ironman's a triathlon. You have a swim, a bike, and a run.
Okay.
So it's a 2.4 mile swim, a 112 mile bike, and then you run a marathon.
At least they hit you on the bike, and you get to miss the run part.
I mean,
I guess if you're whatever, fine. Running's not hard for everybody.
Yeah.
Ugh. What was it? Was the swim open water?
it's open water. Yeah.
Well, yeah. But
So
I mean,
it was actually in the Woodlands, the Texas
wow.
one. So I've done that one. That was the second time I was doing that one. So it's in the Lake Woodlands. It's like a loop in the lake.
okay, cool.
And then you ride the Hardy Toll Road from like the Woodlands down to almost downtown Houston. So you do that twice. And then fortunately that's where I got hit at. But
Right.
Man.
so it was in an aid station too. So I was on my bike off in the aid station, and the guy just was not paying attention and smashed into me. So I was clipped in my bike actually.
Oh, that
on the
sucks.
side, and I got knocked over.
So your
Which I-
feet are actually attached to the pedals where you're not able to just yank them out.
Yeah.
That sucks.
So I got a few scratches, nothing bad, but the derailleur was bent. The bike techs were able to fix it, but I lost like 4 of my gears. And then obviously it's just like making noise the whole time, and you could tell it's rubbing. Something's not right in there.
Right.
So
Just make the
I was able to
situation
push
worse.
through until I got to the cutoff time, and they're like, can't do anymore. So
That
Man.
sucks.
so I was going to push through it. I was like, oh, I'll just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I forgot what the time was, but I was going to make the bike cut off because you have like 9 or 10 hours to do the swim and the bike. And I was getting close to the end there, and they had like a trail car, and it's like, you're not going to make it. I'm like, well, all right.
Oh wow!
So-
I didn't know that they could cut it off. Like,
Yeah.
okay, you're not gonna make it.
How long, like, well, I guess first of all, what makes you decide I want to do that?
Bad decisions.
Okay.
I saw it, and I was like, you know what? I can do it. And then I paid and signed up, and then I was like, as I'm training for it, I'm like, man, this is a bad idea. It's
Yeah.
a lot of time, a lot of hours. Going from like weightlifting, which is what I really like to do, does not like correlate at all
Right.
to that kind of stuff. So, like for Ironman, I dropped like 20 pounds
Golly.
as I'm training for that. And then, of course, it's like I'm not training my normal stuff. You know, I love doing
Right.
bench, squat, deadlift, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, as I'm getting into biking, that kind of stuff, I'm getting good at that. And then now I switch back, and it's like, man, I can't do any of this stuff anymore.
Right.
You know, it's like starting all over. So,
Sorry. Go.
but there are people who love doing that kind of stuff, like love doing Ironmans and triathlons. And I think it's also kind of like for you, rock climbing. Like,
Right.
you don't like to do rock climbing, it's not your thing.
Yeah.
Ironman is more like, I'm going to do it just to do it. And then now it's like,
So
might not ever be my thing though, you know?
So how do you adjust your life whenever you looked at it and you're like, hey, that's the thing I want to know if I can do? And like, what changed for you?
Sorry, what do you mean by that?
Well, like anything as far as, because obviously you're big into weightlifting and stuff, but as far as like diet, habits, I mean, you pretty much have to cut everything else out of your life and just either run, swim, or bike now?
It kind of is, yeah.
Yeah.
You have to spend a lot of hours on that, especially for biking, because, you know, you go to the gym, you might do an hour, 2-3 hours in the gym, you know. But now it's like bike, it's like your long bikes are going to be 4 hours long. So, especially with family, it's kind of like having to adjust
Right.
that schedule. It's like, hey, I have my long day,
Right.
or I'm going to do a 3-hour bike and an hour run. So it's
Man.
not only like a sacrifice, I guess, for your time schedule, but if you have family, you have the family on board who
Right.
support that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
So does that, the one in April, was that the only one you've done?
I've done that one before, 2 years prior as well. So,
So you already done it?
yeah,
You completed it?
yeah.
What are you still doing it for?
Thought, like, you get that adrenaline rush, you do something, real big. It's like, I want to do that again. And it's like, well, I'll do it again. So I signed up.
Those are good things.
I don't know. It's like a runner's high, I guess. So I signed up, ended up deferring because it was going to interfere with the academy.
Sure.
So they let you defer for a year. So I deferred it to this year. And then obviously I was like, okay, let's do it. And as I got closer to it, I was like, man, I actually really don't want to do this anymore.
Right, yeah. So now that your last one you weren't able to complete, are you going to do another one?
Yeah.
I haven't decided yet. So right now I'm like, no.
Right.
Life's good right now. I don't want to even think about training, any of that kind of stuff.
Sure.
So maybe in a couple years, but I'm going to give it some time.
Man, that's something else. Big life adjustment. I almost feel like background-wise that you were at least helpful by firemen, then being police. I would think that that's kind of helpful as far as that endurance and pushing through when you want to stop. I would just think it's helpful than the average person. It
is, but for firemen, it's almost like a benefit to be bigger or fatter, to be honest, because the endurance part is good, obviously, but the pressure from the hose lines, especially at the nozzle when you have it flowing water, it could be 100 plus pounds easy pressure against you that you're going to hold.
Oh, okay.
So when I started the fire department, I think I was like 170 pounds or so. So I got smaller back then, and that thing could easily whip me around where it's like I'm fighting for my life trying to hold that thing.
Whoa.
Versus you see some big guys, they just hold on as if it's no big deal. They're just using their body weight and it's just pushing against them, and it's not a problem.
Yeah.
So
that's fine.
You definitely have a bit of a weight advantage for that kind of stuff. So
Fire, police, business, economics, Ironman, biking. I'm just saying things to maybe.
I was going to ask, so I actually know somebody who does the Ironman stuff, but they travel to South Africa. Do you ever entertain the idea of doing any of those?
Probably not.
No.
Because right now I'm like no-go on Ironman as it is.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, the traveling would be nice, but maybe just as an actual vacation and not like a vacation of pain and suffering.
That's true. You a David Goggins guy?
No, I'm actually not.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, about fitness, but I don't know about like the lifestyle per se. You know.
Oh yeah, no,
there's definitely balance. Yeah, I don't drink, but like I'll eat pizza and wings, and I'll eat dirty for sure.
And spend time with people I like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he shared some picture on his Instagram or something, and he's like of his feet, and he's like just this nasty blister, and his feet are all swollen, and he's like. Yeah, it was like mile 160 of this foot race or whatever, and I realized that you need to carry 2 shoes in case your feet swell, and I'm like, or you could just not run 160 miles or even 100 miles.
No.
I don't get it.
I mean, there could be money being a motivator too for that kind of stuff, like a persona, you know.
That I would see.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he is like that a little bit, but also maybe it's also persona, you know.
Yeah, that's true. How about the social media image? Yeah.
I mean, if that's his business and his moneymaker.
Very
which
true.
I'm assuming it is. I don't know what else he does.
Yeah, there's no way the guy's poor.
No.
Yeah, there's no way.
Unless he's living off, military retirement, but I don't know.
Maybe.
Then he would be poor.
I wonder if, I just was curious, you were talking about just family-wise, if in your family, so you're law enforcement, then for fire department, do you have those type of professions within your just family as a whole, or are you like the first one? And what that has
I'm the
been
first
like?
one.
Wow.
Yeah, so my mom was a teacher. Dad was an accountant. My grandparents, one was a book salesman.
Awesome.
So they used to travel around to different university stores and they'd be like a distributor for books. And then my other grandfather ran a furniture store. So he ran a big furniture store in Los Angeles. It's still actually there.
Wow.
Cool. So it was like one of the first. He used to tell me a story about it because it's in East LA on Whittier Boulevard. So kind of like a main thoroughfare through there. It used to be a very Jewish area, and now it's a very, I don't know how to say it, but
Not Jewish area.
I was going to say not Jewish.
No, I don't know. I guess like our whole family used to be out there, and so like a lot of the neighborhood just left, so everyone kind of moved out as well. So the store's still there, but towards the end of my grandfather's life, he always say, like, hey, man, like, this isn't what it used to be,
Right.
It used to be a very vibrant area.
Yeah.
So, certain areas kind of come and go as it is. So, but he used to tell me stories of how they were the first business to get air conditioning out there.
Wow.
Man. And he told his dad, who ran the store at the time, like, hey, like, we need to get air conditioning. Like, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
I want to say this was probably in the 60s.
Yeah.
And his dad said no. So he went around his dad, and he told me he spent $18,000 back then. So in the 60s, he went around and spent that for air conditioning for their building. So his dad walked in and could not believe like how like ice cold it was, and of course it gets up to 100 degrees during summer out there.
Right.
So that was our big selling point back then, was come into our store, we have air conditioning.
Yeah, you'll be able to breathe.
Yeah, because no one had air conditioning back then in housing or buildings. So
Which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
yeah. Versus now, it's like it's kind of expected everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's funny.
Man.
So you, is it something that you plan to do a full career of?
Kind of the plan right now, yeah.
Yeah.
Got a great place here, family here, so
Sure.
I'm loving doing what I do right now.
Yeah.
So I don't have any other plans.
I know some people, some people are like, I want this is on a list of things I want to do. So they go, plan to do 10 years or whatever, and then move on to something else. You plan on working your videography aspect of your life back into things, or no?
No, just kind of leaving it behind where it was.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Cool.
But
Well, do you have anything else?
No.
No. Do you have any? What's that?
I guess I could follow up on something I asked earlier, was the PIO stuff
Yeah.
you were asking about, and I guess like victim rescue kind of stuff. So like I said, PIO is a dual role. So when I was working in the fire department, I worked on a truck, 56 hours a week, and then plus I had PIO hours outside of that.
100 days off, yeah.
There was one instance where we did have a kind of a rescue of a victim from a house fire. And so I was one of the teams inside that was looking for the person. Either way, at the end of the incident, I come outside. Of course, we're all drenched. It's, 90 degrees outside.
Right, you look like
it's
you've been
nighttime. It's 90
fighting fire.
degrees.
Yeah.
I'm covered in soot. And there's 5 news cameras that showed up, like 5 different stations showed up with all reporters. So the chief's like, all right, well, it's all for you. So I walk over there and I'm like, hey, does anyone have like a towel? And one of them didn't thank God, so I'm like cleaning up and getting ready. And I'm like, all right, I guess we'll do an interview. And I guess I was still like so full of adrenaline just from doing that whole thing inside.
Yeah.
Well, and you probably don't have like a super good grasp on like the overall of what's happening, because you've been in there stumbling in the walls and trying to make sure you don't burn alive.
I mean, I had the basic details, except I was just hyped up. First, I guess when you're calm and have time to think about things, it's like, okay, what am I exactly going to say? Yeah. So we started the interview, and I say the wrong street name that we're on. I was like, hold on, we got to
start over.
Give me about 5 minutes and kind of do that and come back. And I guess the whole learning point of that was no interviews going forward.
Right.
After being in burning buildings.
Maybe don't have your PIO inside.
Right.
That's funny.
Unfortunately, I was the only one there, so didn't really have much of an option. But it was a good experience. I enjoyed the PIO work, the firework, all that kind of stuff.
Do you have any interest in doing that on the police side? As far as
PIO stuff? No, probably not.
No.
It was good. The main roles for that, besides the interview stuff, which was pretty rare, helped out with recruiting, social media. Recruiting is a big one, obviously,
right?
Because a lot of places are hurting people. So I was in charge of like recruiting videos, applications, all that kind of stuff, getting people in the door.
Yeah.
So it was a good experience and all that kind of stuff, but it's probably not my thing long term.
Right.
They just needed help at the time because the previous PIO had left, and so I was able to fill in that role and help out with a second PIO over there. Yeah. And I think they have a team now since I've left, but.
It seems like most places do. It's so much to manage with like social media.
Definitely.
And
yeah. Times are changing, so you would need a team nowadays.
Yeah, but it's good now. We did our our big thing was recruiting over there, and they were having issues because the department was growing so much down there, and our area is the size of about Arlington and Grand Prairie combined.
Oh, okay.
So we have Grand Prairie has like 10 fire stations or maybe 11 coming up, something like that, and Arlington's got like 17, 18. We had 13 fire stations.
Okay.
So for an area, these two cities combined, we were kind of short on fire stations, and we were transitioning from a hybrid model of volunteer duty crew, which is like part-time firefighters, to all full-time.
Right.
So we were hiring a crazy amount per year, sometimes like 14, 16 at a time, twice a year.
Oh, wow.
Trying to expand. And then as I was leaving, I think they just approved another 8 fire stations. So that's going to be a lot of people they're going to need.
Yeah, no kidding.
So the whole big thing was, getting recruiting numbers up. So, and so that was always kind of my passion down there. But as you guys know, it's probably hard nowadays to get kind of people and
That's true.
that kind of stuff. But
You can do your best. Go take a college job.
when I did leave, we actually had 240 people apply for our last test.
Oh, very cool.
Wow.
And then I walked out the door. See,
Job's done.
Yeah.
job is on you guys now.
Yeah.
You got this.
Have fun. So they got a great group of people that came around after that. So it ended up working out for them. But
Awesome.
it sounds like they've been successful since then. So just obviously very tough nowadays, most places.
Yeah.
Well, they say when the economy takes a little bit of a downturn too, public service jobs tend to start filling up again. And once the economy takes off, some of the public service jobs a little harder to fill.
Yeah.
So that's been good to us.
Yeah.
So, was there anything else?
No, I think that was.
Or you said PIO. I didn't know if there was something else.
Right.
But-
I think we hit the things.
I think we changed subject really. That's why I just brought it up. But
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to. We always end by giving people the opportunity to kind of share, words of wisdom or something that they've learned on their journey. You can speak a little bit more to guys, I guess, who not a very big demographic, I guess, people going from fire to police, but certainly having been to the academy more recently, you have more of an idea of what it is going to entail now. What advice would you give somebody who's looking at coming to our academy in the near future?
I mean, it's been worth it.
Yeah.
Some of the weeks, though, when I was getting my butt kicked in PT by Officer Logan and all the other people over there, I was like, man, this is
Yeah.
today is not fun, but the whole process has been worth it. I've been so glad that I ended up coming here. 'Cause I applied here, and I applied to a couple different agencies around the area as well.
Sure.
Ended up backing out of the other ones or not making the test at the time, but super glad I ended up here. I think the big thing was when I showed up to my test, Chief Leonard was there, and he said, we want people to don't want to sit under trees and want to get there and do things. And when I came to my oral board out here, I was told if I want to put 1,000 miles on a car in a day, I can. I'm sure maybe not everyone here would agree about putting 1,000 miles on a car in a day. But it was that kind of excitement where it's like I can go out and do things versus being stuck in a box, which the fire station really is a box. It's a box of 4 walls. You're waiting for a call to come out versus when you're in your patrol car, you can go out and really do what you want to do.
Right.
So that's kind of my big thing is if I want to chase things, I wanted to get out there and experience things, and I've been able to do that here.
Awesome. It's good to hear. All right. Well, I think that's it. Well, until next time.
Till next time.
Thank you, guys.
I appreciate it, bud.
Yep.
Thank you.
Oh, it's